Across the country, we are seeing the worst start to the influenza season in the past 6 years, according to the CDC influenza map records. There are also some questions surrounding when those who have been vaccinated against COVID may need a booster shot and if it's safe to get a COVID vaccine along with your flu shot. Thanks for joining us for this week's Health News You Can Use. I'm Lindsay Stish. This week, we're talking about booster vaccinations for COVID-19, flu shots, and the upcoming flu season. With me today is Dr. Sarah Boyd, infectious disease physician at St. Luke's Health System. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So, Dr. Boyd, according to CDC influenza maps, we're seeing the worst start to flu season across the country in the past 6 years. Why might this be happening right now?
I think it's a combination. Certainly, a lot of the things we did for preventing COVID, masking and social distancing, not gathering together in large groups, a lot of those things have started to roll back. And so I think we're beginning to see more of those respiratory viruses spread with those less masks, less social distancing, and more gathering.
So why might it be worse this year compared to pre-pandemic years?
So, I think it's probably just that we didn't have a lot of circulation last year. When you talk about flu season, we really almost had no influenza. But now that people are gathering together again, I think it's just an opportunity for viruses to spread.
Okay. And we're also starting to see many wintertime viruses like RSV and other viruses already. What do you foresee for the coming months?
So certainly a traditional year, we might see those respiratory viruses like flu and RSV start later in the late fall, early winter, and then spread, kind of until springtime. I think now we're probably going to see a longer season of, certainly high numbers now and probably persisting through the winter.
So as we head into flu season, what can the community do to help our healthcare systems and our workers?
Certainly, one of the most important things you can do is get your influenza vaccination this year. In a normal year, we have influenza that will put strain on healthcare systems of people that get hospitalized and have severe illness. And the influenza vaccination is a very good way to prevent severe illness and lessen symptoms. That could help us in the emergency departments with less people showing up and help us in the hospital in people that might need beds due to influenza infection.
So originally, experts recommended waiting 2 weeks after getting your COVID vaccine before getting your flu shot or other vaccinations. What's the current guidance?
Current guidance would say is that you're okay to go ahead and get whatever shots you're indicated for on the same day. They just recommend that you space it out different sites so that if you would have a local reaction, you would potentially know which vaccine had caused that reaction.
Okay, that makes sense. So booster shots for COVID-19 are, of course, a hot topic right now. Who currently qualifies for that third dose?
So I think it's an important distinction. That third dose was based on a study that showed that really immunocompromised people had much better antibody response to vaccine with a third dose. And so they approved that third dose for immunocompromised as part of really that primary vaccinations series. People that we thought might have trouble making a full response to the vaccine, that third shot really helped them. And so it's really an extra dose of that initial vaccine series.
So the White House has announced that the general public may be able to get an additional booster shot in the coming weeks. What's the process that needs to happen before that takes place?
So the process would be is that data is submitted that looks at patients who are enrolled in the trials to FDA, and they take all of that and make a decision if it needs to be referred on to the Advisory Council on Immunization Practices. And so that committee will meet and review and then make a decision or recommendation about if anyone else needs boosters.
Okay, great. Well, what's your final message for people watching today?
Certainly, please get your influenza vaccine this year. Pay attention for if you need an extra COVID vaccine now, or perhaps in the future if when the booster question is solved. And then also, same things we've been saying. Please wear a mask when you're out indoors or in crowds. Wash your hands. If you're sick, please get tested. That's the only way you're going to know if any of these winter viruses, if it's COVID or if it's flu or RSV.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
To learn more about COVID-19, visit stlukeskc.org/COVID-19. You can also stay up to date with all the latest developments on the COVID pandemic and other health news from St. Luke's at stlukeskc.org/news. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time on Health News You Can Use.